I know a lot of photographers that are thriving, and I know a whole lot of photographers that are hurting. But the only ones that really fail are the ones that quit. Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Sergio and I'm a commercial photographer here in Victoria, BC, and I've heard this argument all throughout my 10-year career. There's not enough jobs to go around, it's too competitive, oh, the industry's really hurting right now. But the thing is, it really has nothing to do with photography. The more I look at other freelancers and other different creative endeavors, the more I realize that this problem happens everywhere. And it's not the problem that we think it is. The real problem is internally, it's on us. It's not the industry, it's you. The reason I bring up a lot of overlap with other freelancers is because I've noticed throughout my career that it really isn't just within photography that we see this kind of thing happening. I have a lot of friends within the music industry and the tattoo industry, and it's similar with them as well, because some people think that things are going really well, and some people have completely opposite experiences. And it's not that their experiences aren't true to them, but I don't think that blaming the industry has anything to do with their success or their failure and the amount of money that they have in their pockets. So I don't think that looking at the photography-specific industry is going to make or break how much money you make in your bottom line. I look at other industries because it helps me understand that those problems aren't unique to photographers. They're not unique to you and my life. So it's much easier to step away and to kind of separate yourself from these problems and realize and look at them from an analytical point of view and be like, all right, well, how can I address the issue that I'm currently having? If it's not the industry, well, it's got to be something else. I think it's an easy scapegoat to just, hey, it's the industry. Hey, it's God's will. Hey, it's not in the cards for me. Put the work in. Do the things that you're not doing. I mean, honestly, if you take an honest audit at your own career, at your job, and look at what you're not doing, look at what the things that you are being too lazy to put that work in, and do it. There's probably something that you're putting off right now, and maybe it's not hurting your business, but maybe it is. And maybe that's the reason that you're not getting booked right now. And maybe that's the reason that you aren't getting that next contract. I've felt like this before. I'm not saying that I'm on some high horse or on top of this mountain, and anyone who thinks otherwise is silly. It does suck. Sometimes the industry is hurting, but that doesn't mean that your personal position in that industry needs to hurt. If your network is strong, if your work is strong, and the area around you knows who you are and they know that you're that person for that job, you're going to get hired for it. It's not like there's zero jobs going around. I know you think there's zero jobs going around, and I know you think that it's too competitive and that you can't get ahead because XYZ lives in my neighborhood, and if he lives here, then I'll never get the jobs because they're always going to get the jobs. That's not how it works. They probably just have a stronger network than you do. And I've said this in other videos, but you want to be able to grow that network much more than any of your photography skill. If you think that your job is slow right now, if you think that the money coming in is slow, if you think that the amount of jobs coming in is slow, I think you're losing them to the people around you, you have to build your network. Your photography skill might also not be up to par. Maybe get a portfolio review by someone who's a few years ahead of you. Maybe look at the things that you might need to improve on. But I'd be remiss if I didn't think that you're lacking probably more in your network than you are in your photography skill. At least I was. But I think a lot of what brings us into photography anyway is that you and the camera approach. It's just us. There's no wrong answers. I can do whatever it is that I want. You're probably pretty good. Like you love this craft. You're probably pretty decent at taking a photo. But all that time that you spend learning flash or learning different lenses, composition, all that stuff, is time that you're not spending on your network and growing the relationships on the people around you. And those are the people that are going to book with you, not the camera manufacturer or whatever. You have to impress the people around you as a person, not as a photographer. You're a person that also takes photos. So you can be like, hey, I am your best friend. Oh, also happens to be, I'm some kick-ass photographer. You can be that person, and that's how you can make sure that an industry doesn't really slow down for you because you're always growing your network, and eventually 1% of 1% of 1% is going to have something to book for you, and that 1% keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger the more you grow that network. That's what's important. That's what really makes you, jump leaps and bounds from the other photographers around you is just having a bigger network than them. There is a really strong argument for starving mentality, or not enough jobs to go around, or the market is too competitive, and I live in New York City and there's a million other photographers, or I live in some city in Iowa and there's 4,000 people here and 3,000 of them went to my high school and they all hate me because they bullied me. That world is in your head, because there's always something else just around the corner just for you if you're looking in the right places and you're putting yourself in the right spaces. There's no exact answer. I can't tell you exactly where to go, what to do, and what to put in your portfolio, but I can tell you that the more eggs you put in your basket, the more likely you are to make an omelet. Where did these come from? You just want to have that luck on your side. You want to be able to be as lucky as possible more and more often. You want to have that little 1% of the 1% of the 1% be bigger than the other Joe Blow's 1% of his 1% of his 1%. That's all it is. That's just about growing that network so that you always have a little bit of work that can come in and keep you going until the next year. Because the industry is still going to be here next year. People have been shooting and being full-time photographers for over 100 years. You don't need to be thinking that, oh, right now at this moment in my city, it's the absolute worst and nobody can make it work. It's probably in your head, dude, honestly. So take yourself out of that little headspace for a little bit and just think of, okay, it's slow. Sure, what can I do for it to not be slow? Not, oh, it's slow, there's nothing I can do about it. That's how you progress. That's how you get better as a photographer. Anyway, I hope you learned something from this video. If you did, maybe subscribe, leave a like on your way out, and I'll see you guys in a couple days. Later.